Hello, drinking mommies. Joining us tonight is going to be my sister, Michelle, and my mom, Lisa. The topic is going to be the 5 steps for finding mom friends, because we all know that we could use a little help in that department. The first step is going to be the introduction. Second step is going to be the background search. Third step is going to be the date. Fourth step is going to be the common ground. And the fifth step, and probably one of my more favorite steps, is going to be the trust test. So starting this off tonight, I'm going to go with my mom, because she's got a little more life experience than my sister and I.
I do have slightly. I have a little bit more of life's experience. You know, I've been burned by girlfriends. I have best friends from grade school. I have newfound friends that I've met in the last couple of years who I now consider in, really close category. And so I'm always open, to meeting new friends. But have I been burnt? Absolutely. I mean, you can't get to this age and not be burnt. So definitely. So which one of your 5 numbers do you want me to talk about?
So I think probably one of the more difficult ones for a lot of people to get over is going to be the common ground, so the 4th step. So we're going to kind of jump around here, especially given today's political climate and how everyone seems to be angry and upset at everything. So Mom, what have you learned?
Well, since our last presidential election, a lot of people became blocked and unfriended because people were either one side or the other, and they didn't want to listen to either side. And so that's okay. So people really did become close after that. They found their far left, they found their far right, they became good friends. And I have friends on both sides. I let them know I hear both sides. I believe both parties are broken. So I let them know that, but there's good in both parties. And so with that said and done, example for politics or religion or being married, being a single mom versus a married mom. Can a single mom hang out with a married mom? And you just find, like you said, a common ground. Maybe the mom likes to go golfing and you like to go golfing. So it's just finding that common ground.
For sure. So my lovely sister.
I don't talk about politics. I just learned to not go there.
We're gonna skip the common ground section for the politics. So one thing, my sister in her profession deals with a lot of clientele.
Not anymore. I'm done with hair now, sister.
I know, but okay. So in the past, I will clarify. In the past, she's dealt with a lot of clientele, mostly women in the hair industry, and so this next question I'm going to pose to you, Shell. So what do you do as far as your introduction when trying to find prospective new mom friends?
I think the thing is just to let, find out about them. If they want to ask questions about you, great, but the more that you can ask about them and get to know them better and share about yourself and be open about yourself, but not too much. If you could focus more 60-70% on them, unless of course they're engaging too. It just depends on the woman, but I guess as long as you're trying to really get to know them, and I think it's important that the things that they're saying, that you remember a few of those key factors too. If you can remember how many children they have or what they do for a living, like little things, if you can key point and remember those things, I think that's really important, because the next time you come back to hang out with them, if you're like, oh yeah, how's your 3 kids doing? Or, how's your job going, doing blah, blah, blah. It lets them know that you listened, you pay attention, and you really cared.
One thing I will say with introductions, I am terrible with remembering people's names. And so sometimes it's not because I'm not listening or that I don't care, but people will tell me like their kids' names, their spouse's names. So when I see them, it's awkwardly like, hey, you, or how is your small child doing? Or yeah, I'm really bad with that. But as far as listening and not talking all about yourself.
Can I share a tip with you, Whitney, on how to help with remembering names? Because I happen to be a therapist. One of the things that I do when I go to a networking event, so meeting women and meeting moms, is that when you meet with them and they introduce and they say, hi, my name is Ashley, I always say, is that with a Y or an IE? Because that helps you plant, and then you're showing interest in them. And same with their children. If you have trouble remember their names, you know, once again, you know, is that, you know, and that's Taylor with a T, Taylor girl, you know, so you kind of add a little something that helps program. So when I go out and go networking, because, you know, that's what I do, I go, hi, my name's Lisa with an L. And they're like, how else would you say Lisa with an L? And I said, guess what? You're going to remember my name. And they do. Like they go, yeah,
really
with an L.
I feel like I like that because then it kind of drives the point home. You know, introductions are so awkward as it is because you always like go over the basic things like, this is my name. Yep. Are you married? Do you have kids? What you do for a living? Like those are kind of the common, you know, foundation questions that you either ask or the responses that you give. But then after that, it's kind of like a free-for-all, you know? I've had introductions where I've shook someone's hand and I've been given kind of like the awkward silence, or like we like to say the awkward silence turtle. Michelle, have you heard of the awkward silence turtle?
Nope.
Anyways, awkward silence turtle is the icebreaker when there's awkward silence. But since I'm the only one that knows that here, this has officially become awkward. So, you know, you sit there and you just try to ask some questions. But have you ever gotten to the point where you ask a mom a question and you get like a one-word response back? Like how do you deal with that sort of situation?
Who are you asking?
Either one.
I would say just go on to the next question. Just keep trying to make conversation. And if it just isn't happening after the first few questions, then just kind of find your way to someone else in the room or go play on your phone. Like if you're at a play center or wherever the heck you are, find someone else to chat with, or just, you know, it's nice to meet you, be friendly, and just leave on a good note. At least you tried. And that's okay.
Yeah, for sure. So the second step of this is something that I kind of like to do. Not everyone does it, or they don't admit to it, and that's the background search. Because I want to know a little bit about a person before I invest the time, because I don't have a lot of time, or at least I tell myself I don't have a lot of time. I don't have a lot of time to spend with people, and so I kind of like to gauge them a little bit before I meet them for lunch or coffee or whatever. And so I tend to pull up their social medias, and when they're not set to private, I'll tend to like snoop. If they are set to private, then I send a friend request. But like I said, I'm pretty flippin' sure that most people do this and they just don't admit to it. But you want to know, like, is this person batshit crazy? Are they a serial killer? You know, do we have things in common? You know? So, Michelle, you're smiling down
I'm just laughing. You know, I'm not into the whole social media thing all the time. I'm on a little timeout for a year.
But don't you ever like kind of like probe and be like, I want to know more about her?
I do. I probe. I look.
I'm trying to remember. I mean, if someone's like a really snatchy biatch in my friends group, then maybe I'll be like, what is her problem and her deal? Like maybe then, but no, because I just don't think you can judge someone off social media. Social media is just so fake.
I will do that. I will.
The majority of the time.
I will look. I won't judge much, but I do look.
Judge. We're women. We can't help. The judgment is wired in us.
I do look.
And we're wired.
I'm just speaking my truth.
Okay, so here's a question I want to throw out. How do you deal with people when you meet them and you find out they sell the MLM products? And then they like corner you and they like, you should sell this beauty product or hair product. How do you deal with that?
So I have friends who have MLM companies, and honestly, for all of my friends who do that, they're usually very respectful. But I have encountered women who have like tried to rope me in, and they're like, hey, you're so awesome, you're so great, which should be the first clue, because they give you too many compliments, more compliments than what a normal person would give. So it strokes your ego a little bit, gives you a false sense of security. So then you go and you meet up with them, and then they're like, oh my God, you're so great. Oh, have you ever thought about earning extra income? And it's like, and at that point you're trapped. you can't go anywhere. So when you go on the date, which is the third step, sometimes you're like, oh my God, someone save me. And then they'll do something like, I'm going to buy your lunch. And then you're obligated. You're obligated. It's like you're at a timeshare meeting.
Don't let anyone buy you lunch on the first date.
No, because then you're obligated.
It's a trap.
That's my advice. Shell, how do you deal with it?
Why isn't there like a dating site for friendship? You know what I mean? Like there's dating sites to find a spouse, a boyfriend, whatever, but why isn't there a site? Like I've thought about this for years. Maybe I'll create it one day, but why is there not a site to find a friend? Like having a profile out there for what kind of friend it is you're looking at. Someone who's adventurous, someone who has younger kids, older kids, whatever it be. Like I feel like that'd help you filter out a lot and would make it kind of easier to find friendships.
Especially
and if they show up and they don't look like their picture, you know, you're not disappointed. It's not like it's going to be your future husband. It's going to be your future friend.
I think that's a future app, Michelle.
That's okay.
Especially if you have a rate me feature. So if someone is seriously batshit crazy, you could sit there and be like, homegirl, showed up at my house at 2 o'clock in the morning, every single morning of this week because she's got some drama in her life, or she's only asked me to move.
Right.
Or forgets her card. I cannot stand women.
And I feel like friendships nowadays, it's so different in this generation of social media that everyone wants to hide behind a screen and, oh, you're so great, you're so wonderful. They say all these things and they get in person. It's like, eh. So maybe like a dating site, same thing. You can kind of talk and text and get to know them a little bit. So when you get together, maybe it won't be as awkward. I don't know.
I think that's a good point. And it can also help ease the comfort into the first date. Okay.
Onto something.
So we already talked about the common ground. We started this with that, but the fifth and final step is the trust test. And for me, the trust test can mean a couple different things. It can mean either A, you don't give your whole personal life story. Some people do. Bless their hearts. Some people do. They're very trusting. For me, I'm a little more guarded. I will tend to give a little bit of personal information about me out until I can fill a new friend out, you know? Because let's be real. Some people either A, use personal information as a weapon, especially if you met this person in a circle of friends, or they just blab their mouth for non-malicious reasons. And then you just got to know, okay, well, this friend might be a good person, but there's some limitations there. So Mom, how do you deal with kind of filling that water out?
Yeah, one of the things I let them know, if it's something personal, I say up front, you know, this is between you and I. I'm not sharing this with anybody else. Now, you could be sharing with 10 other people saying this very same damn thing, but that's been kind of a thing that I've had to do as a mechanism for people I don't know that well. Or if I know them that well, it's kind of a reminder, because sometimes you think, oh, it's okay because they don't. And so when you kind of have to remind them, this is a sensitive topic. Because I've even done it with both of you girls, not intentionally, you know, saying stuff you told me. And I'm just like, oh, I didn't know that you didn't want me to tell. Blah, blah, blah. Yeah, Michelle did this, Whitney did this. And so I've done that. So, you know, once again, it's just, I'm a work in progress.
I think we all have too, you know, and that's a really good point, is that breaks down into communication too. Like if you tell someone in confidence and at least let that be known.
Yeah.
I think that's important.
What do you think, Michelle?
I'm distracted. I'm here waiting to pick up my daughter at school, and it's just kind of a crazy zoo right now. So I'm a little squirreled. I'm sorry.
So my sister right now is sitting because 600 parents at your school?
Over 600 kids. Yeah.
We had put it out the window.
We had a brand new school built, and our school district last night sent out an email that our school was going to be the only school to not have buses sending the kids in, and that all the parents are to bring their kids and drop them at the bottom of this big hill and have our kids walk up the hill.
Because there's no safety concerns with that.
Over 600 kids. Can you imagine the lineup of cars? It would have been crazy. I called and talked with them and told them I contacted the news and stuff. And ironically, an email went out right after that saying that we can drive the children up to the front of the school and pick them up at the front of the school. So that's good. Anyways, Taylor's getting ready to come in, so I'm gonna have to peace out.
Okay.
That's
For
okay.
having me.
We
Bye,
are tied
ladies.
up. Yep. Love you, Shell. Thanks for joining us.
Love you. Bye.
Bye. Okay, Mom. Well, that's pretty much bringing us up to the 15-minute mark. So thank you for joining me tonight and sharing your wisdom with all of us. We definitely appreciate it. And for everyone else, I hope that you enjoyed the show. Every Thursday, we're going to do a weekly show with a new topic. Feel free to follow us on YouTube. Watch for the new videos to be posted on Facebook. And if you follow us on Facebook, be sure to also follow us on Instagram. And starting tomorrow, we're going to be starting a new concept, which is our weekly drink. So be on the lookout for that video to drop tomorrow. So thank you, everyone, and have a good night.